Why Robert Downey Jr. turned down Marvel's biggest offer. Imagine Robert Downey Jr. not as Iron Man, but as Doctor Doom, the most feared bad guy in the MCU. How did Ryan Reynolds try to get him to reprise his part as Tony Stark in Deadpool and Wolverine? What caused this amazing change? We have a shocking story from behind the scenes that could change everything you think you know about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Have fun with us. People love the Marvel Cinematic Universe because it has surprises, dramatic character arcs, and a group full of big names. The way Robert Downey Jr. played Tony Stark set the tone for the whole series, making him one of the most famous people in this world. Fans and people who work in the industry were both shocked when Downey Jr. was announced to be coming back to the MCU, but not as the beloved Iron Man, but as the infamous bad guy Doctor Doom. In an interesting turn of events, it turned out that Ryan Reynolds, who plays Deadpool, had asked Downey to come back as Tony Stark in the much-anticipated Deadpool and Wolverine movie. In a recent chat with IndieWire, the movie's screenwriters Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who have worked on all three Deadpool movies, shared this interesting fact. They talk about how excited and disappointed they were, saying that they had imagined Downey Jr. showing in the movie's opening scene with Happy Hogan, played by Jon Favreau. Tony Stark is going to make a cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine. There was a scene that Reese and Wernick planned in which Reynolds' character, Wade Wilson, applies for a job with the Avengers. So the plan was for Tony Stark and Happy Hogan to decide if Wilson was good enough to join the superhero team. The scene was meant to be funny, with Stark questioning Wade's teamwork skills, which led to Wade being fired. It was important to include Favreau's Happy Hogan because the writers thought that the chemistry between Favreau and Downey, which had worked so well in previous MCU movies, would add to the scene's fun and charm. Rising star Ryan Reynolds, who has a history of getting famous people to make cameos in his movies, really wanted Downey Jr. to play the part again. Reynolds read the scene with Downey and Favreau in mind, according to Reese, in order to get them to take part. Wernick remembered he gave Downey the hard press, which showed how convincing and determined Reynolds was. The screenwriters didn't know at the time, though, that Marvel had other ideas for Downey. Downey was already in talks for a much bigger part that would bring him back to the MCU in a very different way, as Doctor Doom, one of Marvel's most famous bad guys. Wernick and Reese were writing this scene at the same time. The talks behind the scenes. Doctor Doom shows up. Wernick and Reese were among the people who were shocked when they learned that Robert Downey Jr. would not be playing Iron Man again, but would instead be playing Doctor Doom. At San Diego Comic-Con on July 27, 2024, Marvel made official that Downey Jr. would play Victor Von Doom in 2 upcoming Avengers movies. Fans were thrilled by this news, and it was also clear why Downey had to turn down Reynolds' offer. When Wernick thought about this, he said that it made perfect sense now. There's no way he was going to do both, he stated. Fans would have been confused if Downey Jr. had played Tony Stark right before taking on the role of Doctor Doom. This would have lessened the impact of his return to the MCU. Disney, which is known for long-term stories and careful planning, probably saw Downey Jr.'s return as Doctor Doom as a turning point in the series' future that needed to be handled with care. Reese and Wernick were disappointed at first, but their anger was lessened when they learned about Marvel's decision. Reese said, "We would have loved to have Downey." He also said that the scene they had written would have been a fan favorite. But at the same time, I think Marvel had this ace in their hole, which is he's about to come back in this different character. This is how Iron Man turned into Doctor Doom. Robert Downey Jr.'s role in the MCU has changed a lot since he went from playing Iron Man, the ultimate hero, to Doctor Doom, one of Marvel's most complex and dangerous bad guys. Both fans and critics have a lot to say about this casting choice. Many people are excited to see how Downey will play Victor Von Doom in the new movie. There is a lot of history and depth to Doctor Doom. Victor Von Doom starts out as a smart but cocky scientist. He later turns into a powerful sorcerer and the leader of the made-up country of Latveria. He is often portrayed as a bad guy with good intentions who goes wrong because of his deep sense of tragedy and complexity. This role offers Downey the opportunity to explore a character far different from Tony Stark, who, despite his flaws, was ultimately a hero. For Downey, the shift from playing a beloved hero to a feared villain is a chance to stretch his acting muscles in new directions. While Tony Stark was a character that allowed Downey to blend charm, wit, and pathos, Doctor Doom will require him to tap into a darker, more intense energy. This casting decision not only highlights Downey's versatility as an actor, but also Marvel's willingness to take bold risks in its storytelling. The impact of Downey's return on the MCU. Robert Downey Jr.'s return to the MCU as Doctor Doom is poised to have a profound impact on the future of the franchise. Given Doctor Doom's importance in the Marvel Comics, his introduction into the MCU could signal a major shift in the narrative arc of upcoming films. As one of the most powerful villains in the Marvel Universe, Doom's presence will likely challenge the Avengers in ways they have never faced before. This development also raises interesting questions about the future of the MCU. With the departure of key characters like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, Captain America, the MCU has been in a period of transition. The introduction of Doctor Doom, particularly with an actor of Downey's caliber in the role, could serve as a central pillar around which the next phase of the MCU is built. Moreover, Downey's casting as Doom could offer a fresh perspective on the character. While previous portrayals of Doctor Doom in other media have varied in quality, Downey's involvement suggests that Marvel is aiming for a more nuanced and compelling version of the character. This could lead to a deeper exploration of Doom's motivations, his complex relationship with other characters, and his ultimate goals. The road ahead, what fans can expect. As the MCU continues to evolve, the return of Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom is one of the most exciting developments on the horizon. Fans are eagerly speculating about how Downey will bring this iconic villain to life and what his presence will mean for the future of the MCU. One of the most anticipated aspects of Downey's portrayal will be his interactions with other key characters in the MCU. Given Doctor Doom's history in the comics, it's likely that he will come into conflict with the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and possibly even the X-Men. The prospect of seeing Downey's Doom go head-to-head with these heroes is tantalizing, especially considering the actor's ability to bring both charisma and menace to his roles. Additionally, Downey's return as Doom opens up the possibility of exploring new themes within the MCU. Doctor Doom is a character who embodies the dangers of unchecked ambition, the thin line between heroism and villainy, and the complex nature of power. These themes could add a new layer of depth to the MCU's storytelling, making it more resonant with audiences. A new chapter for Robert Downey Jr. and the MCU. Robert Downey Jr.'s return to the MCU as Doctor Doom marks a significant new chapter in both his career and the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. While fans may have initially been disappointed by his decision not to reprise his role as Tony Stark in Deadpool and Wolverine, the prospect of seeing Downey take on one of Marvel's most iconic villains is an exciting development that promises to add new dimensions to the franchise. For Downey, this role represents an opportunity to redefine himself within the MCU, moving from the heroic, wisecracking Tony Stark to the dark, enigmatic Doctor Doom. For the MCU, it signals a bold new direction, one that could reshape the landscape of the franchise for years to come. As Marvel continues to push the boundaries of its storytelling, Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom is likely to become a central figure in the next phase of the MCU. Whether he will be the ultimate villain or a character with shades of gray remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Downey's return will be a game-changer both for the actor and for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Don't miss out on more insider Marvel stories and blockbuster updates. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you never miss a reveal.